My name is Simon Viklund. I am a co-founder of 10 Chambers, and I work as the audio director and composer for our games.
Will there bots in this video game at the beginning? Because, sometimes do you want to play alone?
Yeah, if you want to play alone, you're better off playing a single-player game. Because we're making a co-op game, so it is intended, to be played with other people. But we are making it consciously making design decisions in order to make it easier to get along with other people. So you will be able to have randoms join your game, and they will not rob you of the joy and the experience of completing objectives and making progress. You could have otherwise, if you're like a beginner player or an intermediate player, you can have like skilled players joining your game and sort of making decisions for you and running ahead and completing the objectives and robbing you of the experience. You wouldn't get that because their objective would be to protect you, not complete the heist. So they can't do that. You're the one completing the heist. So it goes into every aspect of the game. We're trying to design a game where it's easy to get along with other people and where the community grows and is healthy, and people are getting along really well. GTFO is not that type of game. We were like, if you play a hardcore game like this, you're up for anything. So we added like friendly fire and all that stuff, so it's easier to make enemies almost. But Den of Wolves is definitely designed to be more, user-friendly in that regard.
Okay, so in the presentation says that there is a significant investment in this development. How high are the stakes for Den of Wolves?
That's hard to measure. Like, what's the
stakes for us is let's say
do or die.
Yeah, it's a do or die situation.
Yeah, it's
we
not
only
like
have that game. We're not a big publisher, releasing 20 games per month or so. So we're really all in on Den of Wolves, which is why we're not communicating the release date partly, because the release needs to be, it needs to work, it needs to be successful. And people judge games very quickly these days. It's easy to refund a Steam game. It's like a one click. So yeah, I'd say it sounds rough, but like a do or die situation.
We don't have a fallback plan really.
Yeah, we're putting all our ships on one color, and hope for the best, or working to make it as good as possible.
Okay, so is Den of Wolves a more user-friendly game than GTFO? So what lessons have been learned from later?
Well, GTFO showed us how far we can take it in terms of difficulty. Like now we can confidently, we know the limits, I guess, and we can sort of back off and say, well, these aspects of GTFO where we pushed, and made it harder, that's something that's cool. That's something that people enjoy. And then other aspects of it that are not as user-friendly or, doesn't have that sort of, what's the word, quality of life sort of, then we will avoid that for Den of Wolves, because it's supposed to be a little bit more, I wouldn't say broad market, because it's still supposed to be a hard game, but not as hardcore as Den of Wolves. It also taught us, not that we have a poor, self-confidence in that regard, but it's always nice to be reminded we can do something from scratch that is completely new, a new IP, a new world with a new storyline and characters and a new type of genre really, because GTFO is more like a survival horror type co-op experience, So yeah, it showed us that, and not, not the least early access, because it was the first game in our career that we put it out in early access and had sort of a staggered release where it was first in early access for 2 entire years, And that was a great experience because it allows us to get to the point earlier in the project where we actually get to put the game into the hands of players and see them play it and enjoy it. And it's inspiring for us to get out of our little development bubble and actually see people enjoy the game, even though it's not entirely finished, you know. So we will do the same thing for Den of Wolves. We want to do early access for Den of Wolves as well and have decided to do so. So yeah, those are the three big things that come to mind immediately when you ask that question.
Okay. So we found a significant visual leap in this game compared with GTFO. Does this alpha showcase the full potential of the studio?
No. It can get prettier, it can sound better, it can run smoother, it can be more exciting. You know, every aspect is still being worked on and polished, you know. The combat in a lot of ways is getting there, you know. It's fun to shoot and take cover and moving around, reloading, you know. The feedback from shooting the enemies and everything works kind of well, but you know, stealth is a work in progress. You know, it's not where we want it to be, but we know what to do in order to fix it. And other aspects of the game are pretty much in like prototype stage, where we're trying stuff out. You know, so we have a design for sort of a crafting or weapon customization thing. You know, component to the game, but it's too early to really talk about how that will work. You know. But you will get loot, you know, by completing objectives or completing heists, and sort of build your arsenal that way.
Okay, so talking about music and audio, I found the more immersive stuff in this kind of situations when you are having some kind of battle. I feel something different in terms of sound. Are you doing something different, like the other games, in these terms of audio?
As compared to what? As compared to other games in general, or compared to GTFO?
GTFO, sorry.
Yeah, it's much more sophisticated. Because I pretty much did the sound for GTFO myself. Because we were a small team when we worked on that game. Like later in the process, obviously other people helped out adding to it, but the bass sounds with the weapons and you know, the monster sounds and your footsteps, everything like that, the sounds you hear all the time, you know, and the HUD and the menu and stuff, I did, you know. So now we have a bigger team, and we have a lead sound designer, Alexi, who's super talented and very technical, which I'm not. I'm more of a gut feeling type person, you know. So he has a lot of ideas on how to do things. So the sound design implementation is much more sophisticated, you know. We're treating the sound with, you know, with live mixing and like EQing and stuff happening all the time, you know. So it's... yeah, it allows us to have more sounds going on at any given point and still giving the player the information that they need. So we've gone crazy with sort of echo and like really, you hear the room when people are shouting, and when you're shooting and explosions are going off, the echo in the room is really present. And I think it helps a lot when you're making a sci-fi game to really sell the location that way and make it feel like it's real. Because it doesn't really look real when it's that sci-fi, you know. You see that it's something that doesn't exist in the real world, but the sound makes it like, what's the word? Like it's real, you know.
3, 2, 1.